we're going to talk about C.J. Spillman. I'm attorney Gloria Allred. And last week, C.J. Spillman, a former Dallas Cowboys special teams player and a former San Francisco 49ers player, was convicted of sexually assaulting a woman in Texas. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for the assault. I represent that victim, whom I will call Mary, although that is not her real name. Mary has been very courageous to have reported the assault to law enforcement in this case. As a result, Mr. Spillman has been forced to be accountable in the criminal justice system for his crimes. The victim, who is not here today, feels that justice was done there. The same cannot be said, however, for the NFL, which failed to live up to the promises that it made to the community and to victims of violence by NFL players. The attack on Mr. Spillman's victim took place on September 20th, 2014. One day after NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell conducted a now famous press conference in which Commissioner Goodell stated, quote, "I got it wrong in the handling of the Ray Rice matter. I'm sorry for that. I got it wrong on a number of levels from the process that I led to the decision that I reached," end quote. He also stated, quote, "I believe in accountability. I understand the challenge before me, and I will be held accountable for meeting it," end quote. Unfortunately for victims, Commissioner Goodell's words do not match his deeds. Despite the fact that on September 26, 2014, I delivered a letter to Commissioner Goodell's office advising him of the police report alleging rape made to the Texas police on September 20th, 2014, and despite the fact that after that, I spent countless hours both in New York and California with NFL investigators who were investigating allegations against Mr. Spillman, the NFL appeared to do nothing and never informed me that they would take any action or impose any discipline at all against Mr. Spillman. Their face-saving PR campaign, which in my opinion was designed to make them appear to be sympathetic to victims of sexual assault or domestic violence, is now revealed for what it really was, a sham and a slick PR trick. The NFL's lack of action was particularly devastating because a massage therapist, who is here with me today, had filed a police report in Santa Clara, California in December 2013, the year before the Texas sexual assault, accusing Mr. Spillman, who was an NFL player for the San Francisco 49ers, of sexually assaulting her. No prosecution ensued, however, as a result of that police report, and Mr. Spillman was permitted to continue to play for the NFL. An example of the failure of the NFL to take action consistent with Commissioner Goodell's press conference and with the NFL's personal conduct policy is reflected in a report by the Dallas Morning News, which reported that after the Texas criminal sexual assault investigation of Mr. Spillman became public, quote, head coach Jason Garrett said Spillman would continue to play for the Cowboys because in his mind, due process begins with a charge, not an allegation, end quote. He said this despite the fact that the NFL's personal conduct policy indicated that a player could be in violation of the personal conduct policy even if no crime was ever committed or reported. In other words, the NFL has failed to live up to its stated goal of accountability. The NFL owes an apology both to the massage therapist who filed the first police report regarding Mr. Spillman in California, and to the victim in the Texas case, whose courage resulted in criminal convictions of Mr. Spillman. It appears to me that the NFL has made no meaningful changes in its policy and practices when NFL players commit acts of violence against women. They are still protecting their players and their game, and victims continue to bear the cost of their callous indifference to them. Victims deserve better treatment, but I do not expect them to get it from the NFL. And now I would like to present that courageous massage therapist who filed the original report against Mr. Spillman. And she is not going to give her name, but she is here today. And she is speaking for the first time publicly about this. So why don't you change with me?
Okay. Thank you.
1 second, please. Thank you.
I have filed a police report in December of 2013 in Santa Clara, California, alleging that C.J. Spillman had sexually assaulted me in my massage room after giving him a massage. Unfortunately, the Santa Clara District Attorney declined to prosecute Mr. Spillman in my case. I was very upset to learn in 2014 that a woman in Texas was alleging that Mr. Spillman, who was then playing for the Cowboys, had assaulted her in September of 2014. I was glad to hear, however, that in her case, he was being prosecuted. The DA in Texas had called me to testify in the penalty phase of that case, and I did testify last week in Texas. We need to hold people accountable for their actions, no matter what their status is. And I'm glad to hear that Mr. Spillman is being held accountable for his actions for what he did to the victim in Texas. And I want to encourage women, victims, to report to law enforcement if the victims are assaulted, because the person who assaults them may do it again. And it helps the police to have a record of prior allegations if the DA declines to prosecute based on the accusations. Thank you.